Hi, everyone. I'm Gwen Callahan, one of the co-directors of the HP Lovecraft Film Festival in Cthulhu. And this is Shorts Block 1 Q&A with filmmakers, done specially for our streaming event, which hopefully you're watching right now. We hope you're having a great time. We're really excited. These Q&As over Zoom aren't always the most ideal because not everyone can make it with time zone changes, but it does allow us to talk to a lot of filmmakers that we wouldn't otherwise get to see. So I'd like to welcome Nick Camp and Don Thiel from Hideous Heart. Yay.
Hello.
Mon Stark from Night Gaunts.
Hey, everyone.
And Fidel Ruiz Healy and Tyler Walker from Dead Enders.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, folks.
Hey. So did you guys have a chance to watch the films just now? Have you seen them? Have you seen any of the films yet?
I saw a bunch of them.
Okay.
Here.
I was
just now.
happy hour.
Okay. I'm just curious. You guys have questions?
Being naughty.
To start there. So there are people in the Discord server right now, which if you didn't know about it and you're watching this, it's https://bit.ly/HPLFF Discord. So that's the bit.ly URL invite to the Discord server. And if you have questions for these guys, even though you're watching this later, pop them into the Discord because I'm gonna tell the filmmakers to kind of check in there periodically and see if anyone had questions for them that we didn't answer here. I have actually, the first question is for Mon Stark about Night Gaunts. And the person asked, well, they said Night Gaunts, Lurking Providence said, Night Gaunts is so good, really cool to see. Puppets?
Oh, thanks.
Question mark?
Yep, puppets, yeah. Sometimes some things I've done have been kind of mistaken for stop motion because I think for one, it's really pretty hot right now. And two, it's just like, you don't see a lot of, you see maybe a couple of people doing kind of more seriously oriented puppets that are not, that are kind of just like not Muppet stuff. So but yeah, totally puppets. Yeah, and like my whole thing is like is low tech. I'm trying to push this like low tech, getting some sort of emotion and whatever vibe like out of just like the simplest materials and acting through puppetry and stuff. And I'm trying to find the easiest path, path of least resistance to get the thing done and tell stories, which for me is puppetry because it's kind of like improv-y acting, and it's kind of just like I've been doing it since I was a little tiny kid, and now I've kind of come full circle and started making films out of them. So
nice. So are you essentially a crew of one when you're making these films?
Up to now I have been, but I'm laying plans now to gather. I mean, I've had offers of help before, and I've got people around locally, even not locally, that would love to come and help. And I just kind of pushed all that away. I needed to like explore this on my own and figure out a process and things. And now I'm working on collaborative things where I'll bring people in to sort of shine in their own ways and let go of some of it too for myself. That's a goal for myself, is to let go of some of the creative stuff, the building.
Cool. When you were what made you decide to adapt Night Gaunts in particular?
Well, I decided I was going to bang something out during the summer, and I really wanted to just I just wanted to do an adaptation, and I knew that was the easiest path. But I had one kind of in development, and I realized I needed to spend more time on it to do it the right way, and I was kind of becoming more it became more precious to me. So I decided to switch gears, and I was on a little mini vacation, and I was reading through some of his poetry, and I just said, this is doable. I can do it. I can pick one of these and I can get it done in a very short amount of time. So that's what I did. And I just love, monster stuff. So I went to the straight up like monster story with good imagery, and it's really clear and tiny little story arc kind of, and then I pulled in other stuff from some of the other stories and poems and things. So yeah, it was just to get it done easily and quickly, really, because I know I was going to do it myself.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to you because there's another question, but I want to talk to Nick Camp and Don Thiel first before I do that. So your film Hideous Heart is also an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart. Sorry, I had a brain fart there for a second. And I really enjoy how you took that and kind of like Shakespeare, like brought it out of, like the antique times, the 1800s and then the early 1900s, and brought it all the way to the present time and then past our present time into the future. What inspired you to set it in space?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think it was just something that we hadn't seen before. Nick had the idea of he was interested in doing a short film at some point, and I was interested in doing another Poe adaptation. I had done one previous to this. And so we just kind of put our heads together and we're like, why don't we take both these ideas and stick them together? And it really, just wasn't something that we had seen before. And I felt like, was was a fun experiment,
Nice. I
And
think
Don's previous Poe was antique style too, by the way. It was
Okay.
it was the old style, but really, really, really sweet and well done.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to point out that Don Thiel is a festival alum, and his short film, The Raven, played at the first festival that Brian and I directed.
Oh, awesome.
Oh,
2011,
cool.
Wow.
the 2-night thing in 2011, and we were still using like digital tape to put everything together instead of
Crazy.
like digital cinema. Like, no DCPs, no ProReses. It was just like all magnetic tape. But yeah, your film The Raven played there, so you have a love of Poe.
That's awesome.
Is there something that speaks to you about Poe more so than Lovecraft? I mean, Lovecraft was very influenced by Poe, but is there a chance that you would ever adapt a Lovecraft story?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I like both authors quite a bit. It just seems to be the Poe stuff is just what keeps bringing me out. It's like inspiring work and stuff that's like stood the test of time, and it's just continued to inspire me over the years. So I think that's why I've gone down that road so far. But yeah, I would love to do a Lovecraft short too. That'd be an amazing. There's so much to play with in that world. So yeah.
Cool. In both films, like The Raven, because if people haven't seen The Raven, it is kind of a writer reminiscing about a lost love through like basically home movies, but it is a period piece. And then Hideous Heart, you've got this just ultra modern, like cool, like cold space feeling. Like the color palette is very chilly, and the setup is very overlaid with like sci-fi overtones. And but they're both very true to Poe's spirit. And I'm wondering how you find that, even with the disparate settings, how you find that way back to Poe's like really atmospheric storytelling mode.
I think it's all in his text. It's all from his world, and I think like they're timeless stories. That really like tap into things that happen inside of us, and that's like an internal or a eternal thing. And I think setting them in different environments in different times, I think just brings out how important and amazing these works were, is that they can be translated into that. You brought up Shakespeare, and I can't help but think of like so many modern adaptations of Shakespeare. There's an amazing amount of that kind of stuff, and it just I think it just speaks to how great the work is. So
Nice.
We had kind of a rule to not to stray like from the original story at all, because like it would be so easy to get in a cheese fest with the space atmosphere and everything. And we were like, as long as we really stick to the story and just tell that without taking any liberties, then it should work really well, because then we can have a lot of fun with the space setting and make it as crazy as possible without like feeling like we're losing some of that like cool factor that the backbone of the story is just so brilliant. So we didn't mess with that at all.
Nice. And the sound design for Hideous Heart is just really kind of ramps up the anxiety in not only the character but in the audience. I think you're just like right there with them.
Amazing. So that's so great to hear. Yeah, we spend a lot of time working out the kinks of that of the of the audio for sure. So I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you.
Still working it out. Yeah, I still just want to go mess with it just right now. There's so many layers that can be tooled.
I think it's filmmakers are the question you get asked sometimes is like, when do you know that it's finished? And I feel like the answer to that is often when I can't stand to work on it anymore.
Yeah, when you're interested enough in something else, I think is a good time to just sign off. But then there's always that, temptation to go back to it. So probably never, I think somebody said that's a good answer. John and I will probably just do it again. We'll be like, it's time to just make the film again and just pretend we never did it. Just start from scratch.
It over in a different time period, though.
Yeah, we'll wait a couple more years.
I'm gonna move over to Fidel and Tyler. Your story, Dead Enders, while being very cosmic horror and very fun and Lovecraftian, is an original story. Who wrote the story? First of all, who wrote the story?
Well, me and Fidel co-wrote it with our friends Jordan and Greg and our cinematographer Connor. We kind of had this idea of like, because we grew up really loving kind of like The Thing and Lovecraft and Carpenter, and we both kind of had these convenience store chains near us. So we thought like kind of just the idea about what would happen if a monster was not like in a space station or like in a, like a poet's office or like, I don't know, like just kind of like keeping like what like the New England looks like now, kind of like the fog or something where it's all like radio stations and gas stations and stuff.
Yeah. So for Tyler, it was like a Wawa in Pennsylvania, and I grew up in Texas. So it was like a Buc-ee's. So we were just like, let's stick the horror like in our kind of like, let's put the monster movie in our backyards and like bring the existential like dread of peering into the universe and just hand that to a gas station clerk and how they kind of deal with the consequences.
Nice.
Like the eternal hell that you're being shown instead of it being like the unknown and the unexplainable. It's just like your dead end job for the rest of eternity.
Yeah, like the Mountains of Madness was just the 9 to 5.
I love it. Yeah, that's definitely like the daily grind, going into opening up your vistas of reality into like possibilities of otherworldly things. Can you talk about some of the production design in the film, because it's pretty great and it's pretty fun, and I'd love to hear some details about how you accomplished all of those, the look and feel and the effects that you put in there.
Oh, thanks so much, Gwen. That's really nice to hear that it looks okay.
Yeah, I mean, because honestly, like for like the look of it, I mean, we just scouted like tons of gas stations in Texas until we found one that looked right and that had like the right shade of like dying fluorescent lights, and then we just kind of stacked the food that we thought looked good next to each other.
We just took out everything that wasn't yellow or red, and then we obviously shot on like anamorphic lenses. We wanted that like real like 80s kind of look, but we just like love Repo Man, which I know is not very like Lovecraft adjacent, but like, we just kind of like that like kind of grungy kind of vibe.
Yeah, so it was just kind of like
the look of like the world where the main character gets taken over and then goes into kind of the bug hive mind illusion thing. We didn't use anamorphic for that one. We just used like kind of like solid lenses to try to make it look kind of different, but still have it be kind of fisheye, to kind of give it that like, I don't know, like Sam Raimi, like kind of monster cam kind of look,
Yeah, and then for like the look of that kind of like, it's like kind of like that weird liminal gas station version, we just kind of like decided like what does like a gas station look like in like the mind of a brain broken down to its like minimal parts. And for us it was just like the same colored cans stacked on top of each other, the same colored bottles in the refrigerators, and then just like a duotone of like there's the light that comes in through the windows and like the refrigerators, and then just like the lighting of the space. And that's kind of how we decided on the design of that. Yeah.
Cool. Let me ask about the effects then. Mostly practical, mostly digital, a mix of both?
It was a mix, right, Tyler? Like we did like there's like some stuff that we like comped in, like, you know, like I think like in the opening there's like a very cartoonish like gas station that's burning and like on fire in the back, or it's like a oil derrick burning in the background, and that was like comped in. But even though the gas station where we shot at, there used to be an oil derrick right behind it, so we thought that was kind of funny.
But a lot of it's just kind of like old smoke and mirrors stuff. Like it's just like the monster's a puppet, and we did just kind of some very like basic wire removal. Sometimes we got a little lazy and left the wires in, you know, just for a little bit of that schmutz, you know, just to give it that vibe.
Yeah, but mostly all practical outside of like a couple things where we had to like, yeah, like Tyler said, take out a wire or just comp something in to kind of like remove a seam here and there.
Okay. And your film also has kind of an underlying message of like, oil companies, stop being so greedy because look what's going to happen. How important is that message that comes across to you in your films? Or do you just want people to have fun with it and then kind of sneak in some vegetables with the dessert?
That's a good question.
I
I
think-
think
Go
well, I
ahead,
think there's something
Tyler.
kind of interesting, which is like with the monster movie or like the invasion movie, it's funny that there's always like kind of this like implied apocalypse, you know, like in like Shadow over Innsmouth or something, where someone realizes that the fish people are coming, you know, and he kind of loses his mind. And I think there's something, you know, like with the Lovecraft kind of literary tradition of like apocalyptic monsters, the bad guys are very much like away. And I think it's kind of funny for this one to have it just be like in Texas, or like kind of like the monsters kind of us, like we're kind of the seeds of our own destruction kind of thing.
Nice. Well, cool. I'm gonna skip around. There was another question in the chat for Monstark about the puppet scale. Like the Lurky Providence asked if it was they were just curious about like the scale of the figures, and if there was any type of major influences on your style that might be worth checking out.
I mean, for the second part of that, I mean, I grew up with Muppets, and my mind was blown by the Dark Crystal when I was a kid. Not that this is like a direct kind of influence, but everything, like my own style. I'm also a visual artist in various media, but and that style is pretty gnarly. So I kind of just apply my style to everything. So everything looks a little kind of like textural, gnarly. I've got, you know, I played with different colors like I probably would have if I were painting it, that kind of thing. Scale wise, I chose the Barbie, which is like 1/6 Barbie size, because one, I had that stuff. I had gone to like thrift stores and things, and I picked up some old Barbies and Barbie clothes, and I was preparing for some other things, and so I had all this crap, you know, around in my shed, and I just went there, and I just took, you know, parts, and then I put parts together, and the proportions of the thing is like a little, I mean, you can see like he's like that big, and his legs are way too long. I mean, way too long for his pants. He's just like little kind of misproportioned, but it's just because I slapped two things together to make it, you know, for ease of puppeteering, and also because I could keep all the sets, because I was building sets and I wanted them to be reasonable enough in scope that I could get them completed. And you know, I built like a whole mountainside basically that this guy's crawling around, and then I had to, you know, I had the monster, which is like that big, and that was kind of a couple of other puppets I had that I kind of crammed together. So it was all just, you know, I'd like to explore more to do larger puppets, and at some point I want to mix like costumes in with, you know, live action and puppetry, and kind of make this kind of melding of styles, and see how that works. It's been on my mind for like 2 years to try that. So when I have more time and help, I'll do that. But I thought this worked fine for what it was. I mean, it was pretty puppety, you know, and in my, from what how I felt about it was like, it was great. Like I did what I wanted to do, but it was like very obviously kind of puppety and small to me, just because I know how everything was made. But it's fine. Like I loved it.
The hybrid live action sounds awesome. I want to see that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I have this I kind of just like I like doing costume stuff and like monster costumes, and I like doing I've got some experimental things I want to try out. And thankfully I've got friends here that are willing to join in, so I can explore that some.
Cool.
But yeah. And again, like, I think it's like influenced by the Muppets and like Sesame Street, because you had monsters walking around in costumes and then you had puppets next to them and everything was kind of a weird, or like the Croft brothers stuff, all that.
Definitely. Yeah, I never thought about how weird Sesame Street actually is, with people and monsters and Muppets walking around, and it's all just okay.
Yeah. It's
And
again,
the street's all grimy too, and everything. It's all
yeah,
messed up. It's like garbage around and everything.
it's beautiful. And just real quick, I'm like I have a whole thing about like forcing this kind of aesthetic, like whatever it is, like you have to make people buy into. Like I made people buy into this weird little puppet world that was just crafted in my tiny shed, and that was good enough. And I just like as low as I can kind of keep that and still make it work. That's my goal, is like make it quick and easy to do, and bring that down to like I said, low tech range, and low tech, low cost kind of thing. It's just like an experiment, and it's a philosophy too for me.
Nice. So Monstuck, your background is in like 2D art mostly, and then you kind of moved everything into 3D art.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, my whole life I've been, drawing, painting, comics. I was really getting into comics for a while because I wanted to do more storytelling, and that was cool. But it's like it wasn't. I felt like it was maybe one step on the path to basically doing moving pictures, what I call it now, because I don't know what exactly I'm gonna throw into it next. I've dabbled in animation and stuff, and I get like the puppet costumes and puppetry thing. So it's like I started doing sculptural stuff and masks and costumes, and then I've kind of it's just kind of this trajectory into like trying to bring everything together, and including writing and music. And I've got other people that it's sound design. I love doing sound design, and I want to do more of that. So yeah, it's just like I think my whole life I was kind of pulling these threads together, and now it's time for me to try exploring using all these things together.
Nice. I've my question for all Nick and Don and Fidel and Tyler is making film your day job? And if not, what was your creative background that led you to film? I'm always curious about like the journey to filmmaking, because it's not easy.
Yeah, I'm an editor, full-time video editor, so I do a variety of projects. I do a lot of movie trailers and that sort of stuff, but I'm freelance, so I do whatever comes my way.
What's the favorite trailer you've done, Don?
I did a sales trailer for the Nick Cage Wally's Wonderland, I think it was called.
Oh, hell yeah.
They changed the title in the middle of the movie, so that's why I was but yeah, I had a lot of fun doing
Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah, Willy's Wonderland. Yeah, I think that's right. That was super fun.
Five Nights at Willy's.
It's the exact same plot. Yeah, they beat them to the market, though. They got it out there faster. So who knows?
Technically, Five Nights at Freddy's is ripping them off.
Yeah, exactly.
Technically. Same. I'm also a video editor, like Tom.
Yeah, and Tyler and I work a lot in video editing, and then we also direct music videos and commercials and the whole gamut of things in between our movies.
I'm in definitely in the video industry inside of things, but it's mostly in the AI space. I'm in the Bay Area, so it's a lot of Silicon Valley companies. But I started making videos, little movies at like age 8 or 9, like sometime in grade school, pretty much right after Jurassic Park came out. So
That's
it's
awesome.
never stopped.
Nice. Okay, this is going to be a raise your hand if you're a Lovecraft fan. Raise your hand if you're becoming a Lovecraft fan. I'm always curious too about filmmakers that make something that's cosmic horror and not necessarily like derived from their experience with Lovecraft. If then they discover this festival and then become interested in it, but we'll see. Maybe you'll read some Lovecraft or see some films in the rest of the streaming event that catch your fancy. But is there anything else you guys are dying to talk about your films that hasn't been covered already? Nick and Don?
I actually have a question for everyone, just kind of a random, I'm just so curious what everyone shoots on, since now there's so many different options. That can all look really cool or really good depending on how you use it too. So just kind of a techie type question, if you guys want to let us know. We shot in a red. Don, do you remember which version of the red it was?
I think it was the dragon. I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember they shot Hobbit 1 with it, so we were like, whoa, okay. So that was exciting. What about you guys?
I forget, did we shoot on a red?
Yeah, it was
I
just
forget,
like,
the red titles are so funny. It's always like epic dragon, assassin, like the red, kick your ass. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
I did think we did epic, right?
yeah, we did it was it's a camera that I own. It was like
Yeah.
the epic dragon. It's embarrassing saying those two words together, but that's what we shot on.
That's what my tattoo says. Watch what you say.
Yeah. That's like your Wu-Tang rap name or something.
Full back tattoo. Epic dragon.
Yeah, red dragon, epic dragon.
But it was just like what we had available to us, and it was like free.
Yeah, we'll shoot on Alexa mostly is what we try to shoot on.
Yeah, we'll just shoot. Yeah, so a lot of like whatever's in front of us, we'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Love that.
Who here's an Arthur Macon fan? Who here likes Arthur Macon? I know this is all Lovecraft all the time, but who's gonna throw a little love on the great god Pan in this chat?
Yeah, where's some Macon adaptation?
Yeah. Where's
Been
the
a
Robert
while.
Chambers fellas going on here? Glenn,
Well,
you gotta get some more.
It's the Robert Chambers nod, and it's a film inspired by Robert Chambers in shorts. Now, I don't remember if it's shorts 3 or shorts 4, but
Oh hell yeah.
coming. And then we also have more Poe. We've got a Frank Belknap Long adaptation, I think in shorts 2. What else we have? We have like a lot of, I guess we just have a lot of Lovecraft adaptations this year, but every now and then we get like a Clark Ashton Smith adapt. But yeah, I don't think I've ever Arthur Macon adaptation.
Yeah, they seem kind of expensive, maybe, I guess. Like it's all like statues and old castles and stuff. It's very British.
All right, Europeans, get on it.
Yeah, come on, England.
Right there. So I hear you can buy castles in Scotland for very, very cheaply. I mean,
yeah, but then isn't it like something where like
put a roof on.
get you or something?
Yeah.
Like you can buy them cheap, but then every year
you got to put electricity into it.
Yeah.
Maybe a bunch of filmmakers need to pool their resources and just buy one, and then they can
like
all
timeshare.
It'll shoot there. Yeah, it's like a timeshare, but it's a share or something.
That's what Charlie Band did in the 80s. Charles Band bought him a castle in Italy and then just shot
everything was set in the castle.
That's castle content for awesome.
I like it. I mean,
there's got to be Airbnbs or something. You can get some castle out there.
Yeah.
I'm
sure that's legal.
It just occurred to me that so the lead in Dead Enders, Scarlet Red, is also in another short film that we've got coming up, I think in Shorts Block 4, called
At the Front Door.
The film is called Whisper in the Static.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
She hasn't told us about this. We see Scarlet all the time. She's keeping secrets from us.
But no spoilers. But it's a fun part. And when we were watching it, we're like, wait, isn't that the girl from Dead Enders? So look it up. We're like, okay.
How'd you guys cast her?
Nowadays, all the young people look the same to me. I'm sorry. Like, like under
Scarlett's got that charisma. She radiates. We found her through our friend Ambar, who does music videos in LA, and she's also from the San Antonio area. She's a really great
and we were just like, Like we just kind of like reached out to our friends because we wanted to make this kind of like a movie that we just made with like our homies, and we're like, we're looking for somebody who's really cool that could like do really good with this part. And then our friends were like, check out these folks. And one of the first people that they recommended was Scarlett. And then we met up with Scarlett and we're like, yeah, she's great. We should put her in the movie.
Wait,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. And it was fun to see her playing kind of two pretty different characters. And even though she's not on the screen for very long in Whisper in the Static, but it's yeah, she's great. Like everyone has commented on like just how strong the performances are in the films this year, and then I think she in particular stands out.
She's
So
amazing.
anyway, you'll have to tell her that you.
I'm gonna ask her for a link to this movie. I want to see this. I want to see it.
So I sent you guys all streaming pass. We can talk about that.
Oh
after.
yeah. I'll look for it.
So let's see. Was there anything else? Let me check the Discord one more time just to make sure everyone got their questions in. And
Oh, I forgot to answer.
looks-
I shot it on a phone. I shot mine on a phone.
Oh, awesome.
Google Pixel. Just like 3 years old or something. So.
Oh, that's cool.
It is incredible what people can do with a phone these days. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, well, cool. I hope that you guys continue to make short films in the cosmic horror genre and continue to send them to us, and that you are very successful in whatever your next endeavor is. But I would love to have each of you tell us where we can find more of your stuff and where we can follow you on either social media or your website, so that people who have become fans of your films now can find more of them. Nick, you go first.
I guess you can just go to my website. It's just my name, nickcamp.com. But yeah, I don't have like a cool film person like social thing or anything like that. I'm not too good. It's like pictures of my kids and stuff like that. So it's not too much to see.
How about down?
To
How about
follow to follow the film, you can go to hideousheart.com. But I also don't really have a social media, so but yeah, the film's up there, will be up there soon, so you know.
cool. Monstark, how about you?
Everything is just Monstark. Monstark.com, Monstark on Instagram or what have you. Those are probably the two top because I don't do a lot of stuff. That's pretty much it. Just go to Monstark.com. It's I'm there. You can find everything else from there. Or just like shout my name out the window and I'll show up on a moonlit night or something. And
How about you, Fidel? Where do people...
Tyler and I have a film collective called the American Standard Film Company. You can find some of our work at the asfc.com, and you can also just see some of my work and Tyler's work. Well, I'll let Tyler speak for himself, but just at my name, fidelrecile.com. And I think my Instagram is also just my name. It's also not super cool, but just like generic film stuff. See me in a rental house poking cameras.
Yeah, I got like a good you on a tripod shot.
It's like me being like, look at this! Wow, look at this camera! Ooh,
Hashtag today's
guy.
office.
Yeah, I'm always hashtagging today's office and being
Yeah,
like,
I know it's saying. So we got the website asfc.com, and then just you can find me on Instagram, Tyler Walker Severe T Storm is what it's called. I was trying to figure out a way to make it my virtual background, but I couldn't figure that out in time.
You failed.
I failed so bad. But thanks for putting this together, Glenn. This was like so much fun. It's like such a cool way for like all the movies to come together, and Cosmic Horror is like so sick. And also your physical media collection looks very intimidating.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You have a lot to catching up to do. Yeah, so for people who are watching that aren't aware, we do a best of collection for each year of the HP Lovecraft Film Festival, and those are available on DVD and now Blu-ray. So those will be for 2022 and 2023. So if you go to arkhambazaar.com/films, you can find all of that back catalog there. And yeah, Well, cool. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank
We always
you.
say it's not a festival without the filmmakers, so we're always excited to get to talk to you guys and like hear more about your process and about your films, and give you a little love, give you a little feedback on how much we love the films and everything that we get. And yeah, so thank you for taking time out of your evening and coming and hanging out with me. And I hope you go watch some of the other films and ask questions of each other in the Discord server. And that's active all the time. It never shuts off. So if you want to pop up 3 months from now and type something, like ask somebody a question, whether they see it or not is a different question. But thank you all, and for our audience, thanks for being here and thanks for watching. We will be back tomorrow with a live Q&A with the filmmakers from Minor, live if we get all the tech working. So hopefully cross your fingers and send prayers to Cthulhu for that. So but
Cool.
thank you. And yeah.
Thanks everybody. Thanks
Thanks
Gwen.
everybody.
Great to meet you guys.
Super. Yeah, you guys too.